Hey, how's it going, everybody? Tonight I'm going to talk about the Deadwood Jedi speed calculator and the White Whale team that is a multiple attacks starting in turn 9 for every member on your team. Um, so just to real quickly show you, this is deadwoodjedi.com. Recently he appeared on a video with Murder Inc. and I just a shout out to them and thanks for this. This is actually just an awesome tool. Um, so Murder Inc. had advertised a comp that was you know uh, Marshall, Dutchess, Valkerie, Altan, and and then of course he used Dracomorph. I don't have Dracomorph, but I do have Rhazin, and so I kind of plugged Rhazin in that place. So this is a poison deficient team, but it runs a long time and it does pretty solid damage. I've got a lot of tweaking to do in hopes of getting it into a one key range, but it has a lot of promise. Um, so if to use this tool, you end up just you put in the base speed and the total speed you're trying for, any kind of an aura you have, and then there's a few specific champs that have turn skip abilities or speed boost abilities, and you can select them straight away from this tool and it'll simulate their abilities appropriately. So if you look at this setup, running Dutchess at 190, Valkyrie at 231, Marshall at 234, Rhazin at 177, and Altan at 209. You can achieve, starting on turn 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 attacks every single clan boss turn. Really, Marshall's the key to this. His speed boost pushes these guys up, coupled with Valkyrie's speed lead to achieve the actual speeds that you really need, which is a couple people in the 250 range before the speed boost and beyond. So the nice thing is you can put the abilities in and kind of play with this. So um, I've set this up so I'm going to skip the first two. So you're going to see Duchess 1, Duchess 2, Duchess 3, and then on the fourth one I'm going to go ahead and use her ability. That's part of the setup for this. On Valkyrie I'm going to skip 2, so we have Valkyrie first, Valkyrie second, and then I'm going to use Valkyrie's A2, and then Altan I'm going to go immediately and use his A2. This is a little bit different than was done by Murder Inc., but this is the setup that has worked for me. And if I go into Clan Boss, you can see I ran this once today earlier. Super long run, 61 million. I'm going to go ahead and run it again and just walk through the setup. The nice thing about this is this does run on Nightmare. It runs forever. It is a very super long run, but it is effective. So I'll start this off manually. Go ahead and use Tornado. And we'll do open wounds. Valkyrie is just going to use her A1. Altan is going to use his A2. Dutchess is going to use an A1. Rhazin, or whoever's in this spot, will use his shear. Now Valkyrie skips this one. Altan does his A1. Dutchess skips this one. Rhazin uses his A1. And you can see the key here, he is keeping that speed buff up 100% of the time. Now at this point, I'm going to use Valkyrie's Stand Firm. And from here, we can hit auto. Now, as discussed with this, I'm going to go ahead and let this run for a while. Once the actual run is complete, I will go back. I'll probably show you the last few rounds of it, and then I will go through the team setup and actually just show you the gear. The gear on these guys is not really that good. Really, the only one that has exquisite gear is Rhazin, so there's a lot of room to improve on here. Right now, Marshall is really just geared to have enough defense and survival. I don't have good enough stalwart gear to get him the survival and the crit damage at this point. So he's not 100% crit and isn't like stacked with a lot of crit damage. Valkerie I think is about 50-60% crit. So she's got some room to improve as well. She is 6,500 defense, which is decent considering 231 speed. Altan is at 100% crit almost, and his crit damage I can improve a lot. I think he's about 4,000 defense, and Rhazin's about 100% crit and 240% crit damage, I believe. So he's actually in pretty solid space, and you'll see as over the life of this, he does far and away the highest damage on the team. And honestly, Dutchess is just there for surviving. She's really there to take the stun. So I'm going to go ahead now and let this run, and we'll come back when it gets close to the end. Okay, we're here at a point now where I expect either this time or the next time around, he's going to kill Dutchess. So we're going to see whether she makes it through this crit or not. As you can see, the damage has been piling up. Also, it's taking a tremendous amount of time. Okay, looks like she's going to live to turn 50, so this will probably take about 53 turns if this tracks about the way. You can see I'm doing about 1.25 million per turn on average here, which is quite solid. Especially considering there's no poisoner. If you had Venus or someone like that, you would go much, much, much farther. And once you lose one, it kind of everything's thrown off. So now you can see that I'm surprised I made it to turn 51, but it's going to end up with about the same amount of damage, 61 million in 52 turns. Again, it's the same setup too. You'll see Rhazin did 19 million of that. Altan did 13, and then the other three are right in the same range, 9.5 to 10 million. And that is kind of consistent with their setup. Really, right now, Altan and Rhazin are really set up best for damage. Let me go ahead and bounce into each of my champions. We'll start with Rhazin. I do definitely advise using Stalwart if you can. You can see his total stats. He's at 4,100 defense. I have a pretty decent crit rate and crit damage on him. Of course, because he's also doing the debuffs, I do have to have a fair amount of accuracy. I did, and this is one thing that Murder was kind of recommending to not do, but I did go ahead and in his masteries, I am using. First of all, I did want Master Hexer because I want his I want it to potentially last longer. I don't need it in this setup, to be honest, because he's refreshing it so fast. But Lore of Steel, this is one that can affect speed comps, and especially when you have a tightly tuned comp like this. It didn't impact me though. It worked out okay. I needed it at the time with the gear I had to get the extra speed, so it certainly did work out. But that's Rhazin. He's of course set up with my best damage. If I look at Altan, you'll see Altan is really, there's a lot of room for growth here. Right now, I have him in Life Steal because that's what I had, and it was pretty good gear. I have a lot of speedy Life Steal. You can see I'm using crit rate gloves on him, so there's a lot of room for growth here, and the boots are good but not great. So I certainly think I can tweak a lot of extra damage out of him. I'd like to get him up to the level of Rhazin where he's pushing maybe 200 some crit damage, and that would be awesome. I really just need to get some better crit rate on some of the other pieces so I can replace these gloves. I also would like to get him in Stalwart. You see he died on turn 50. I either need him at 5,000 defense or so, or I need him in Stalwart to avoid some of those untimely deaths. I did also set him up with the same masteries, so you can see he has Sniper, and I take it back. I guess I redid him, so I skipped Lore of Steel, but I still wanted the Sniper and the extra length on the attack down. Beyond that, I've got Valkerie, and Valkerie and really the rest of my champs are geared with kind of in the defense tree for the 2 counter attacks, which is kind of the expected strategy. But as you can see, Valkyrie's she is in Stalwart gear. I got her up to 6,500 defense, which is pretty good considering that I did have to go with speed boots to get her at the speed rate. I've got a lot of room to grow here on the crit rate. I would love to get that at the 70, 80, 90%. That would definitely improve her damage a little bit, but all in all, she's mainly providing the shield, so not bad. Dutchess, again, I had to kind of get her geared up, and she's got a little room to grow too. I so far I haven't maxed everything out, but as you can see, she is at the 190. She's at 5,300. I think once I max her, I'll get her around 5,500. I do have her crit rate nearly, it's pretty close to 100%. Not quite there. And I do have her in Life Steal as well, mainly because it's going to help her regen. So ultimately, I'll probably leave her in Life Steal since she's eating the stun, and and just crank her defense as I try to improve this to try to get closer to a 1 key out of it, which I think it can achieve even without a good poisoner. If I had a poisoner, I'd be there already. The last champ I have is Marshald, and again he's got 70% crit, but he's really not exceptionally geared. I mean, I'm at 3K defense. The stalwart helps a ton to get him what he needs, and I did, I had to ditch the crit rate a little bit and go with defense chest and defense gloves, so his attack isn't really that high, but he's a hard one to get to 3K defense. So, and that was definitely necessary because as soon as he dies, the run is over. So anyway, that's a picture of the team. If you guys have any questions, just go ahead and leave a message below, or you can drop by our Discord and say hello. I'm going to also leave maybe some links to the Deadwood Jedi page, and also to the Murder Inc.'s White Whale comp video as well, as I think they have a lot of additional information that this really just builds on. And I can't say enough about the work that they've done to make some of this stuff available and just to spread the knowledge around. It's really awesome. So thanks again, guys. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you later.